Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I want to go through the Starbreak core in a little bit more depth this time. And then I wanted to do a little bit of a showcase of the healing function of it. So let's go ahead and go into our core. So right now I've got the Starbreak Reforge on here. We'll be testing that out. I did do a little bit of testing, and I think they need to change a couple of things about it, but it is definitely an interesting feature. So your other options for the main selection are the Starbreak Reforge, the missile turret damage, or flight velocity. Your first option here gives you the option, your first upgrade here gives you the options of flight velocity up to 9.3%, warp stability up to 3, and capacitor up to 9.7. Your second upgrade here, let me see if I can find one that hasn't had a reset here. Okay, your second option here, you have all of the weapon systems damage types up to 14%. So that is like turret and missile electromagnetic damage up to 14%, thermal damage up to 14%, kinetic damage up to 14%, or explosive damage up to 14%. Your third upgrade, you have the options of 11% scan resolution up to 5 warp stability, up to 12% shield health, and up to 12% armor health. When you're running this Starbreak core, the activatable mode, that Starbreak Reforge mode, is based on how much HP your defenses have at the time. So whichever one is highest on the hit points, that is the one that will be healed when activating that mode. So in the case of my Marshal here on the right has 70,861 EHP, and my armor is 69,300. That means when I activate the Starbreak mode, it will heal 30% of the shield hit points, which is about 23,000 hit points in one go. And then it will have a 150-second cooldown while it's gathering new activations in the background. Alright, the next upgrade you have the options of missile and turret damage up to 9.6%, laser range up to 11.1%, missile torpedo flight velocity up to 11%, railgun range up to 11%, and cannon range up to 11%. So there is the option here of having just missile and turret damage, if you're interested. The second to last upgrade gives you the option of up to 6 warp stability, up to 12.3% scan resolution, up to 13% shield, and 13% armor. Once again, if you're using this for PvP and you don't care about the warp stability, I would highly suggest running the shield or armor percentages, so that way you have a much higher health per activation gain. Something like this on a capital ship is going to save you a lot. It already takes a long time to get through 30% of something's shield or armor when you're a capital ship, and so having that amount of health come back could end up saving you in the long run. Alright, and your last upgrade, this is once again all of the elemental damages. It is your missile and turret electromagnetic damage, missile turret thermal damage, missile turret kinetic damage, and missile turret explosive damage. With these, you'll go up to 19%. And this is why I think if this core actually gets approved to have a gold core, we could see these ships surpassing many other ships in the game. With the gold core and this maxed out, you're looking at an extraordinarily tanky and extraordinarily DPS heavy fit without having to try, other than just upgrading the core itself, which will take you a lot of money to do. To give you an idea, the thermomagnetic storm core for the Raven had a, let me see if I can find it. Concord Pass. This. Nanocore Collection. Thermomagnetic. Raven, which would be the best one out of the bunch. The Raven has an 18% damage with a 22.5% elemental damage. So it is just a little weaker by like 1% or something like that. So yeah, 19.2, and then you would get another 19%, and then you could also have this Starbreak Reforge on it. That is going to be really good when it gets the gold core, or if they approve the gold core for the Starbreak core. As it sits, I do think that this core is one of the best cores in the game, for both PvE and PvP. It is almost entirely based around damage and being able to escape from situations, from the warp stability to the damage options you have on it. So, when we do get a gold core for this, I will absolutely be running that. Alright, let's go ahead and go do our missions for today, and we'll have a look at the heal. debating whether or not I want to drop this for like a shield extender. I think I'll just run without my booster on and let you see like how this works. We should still be in a fleet. Yep. I know we had a small patch earlier today, so don't want to worry about that right now. Okay. Go ahead and head to perimeter. That was from my little test earlier today to see how the Starbreak core was performing. It went pretty well. Here is our Starbreak function, and we'll talk about that while we are on our way to perimeter. So, when active, this Nanocore activation will give you 30% of your shield and or armor back. You will gain an extra 30% shield or armor based on whichever one is the highest at the time. It's based on your total HP, not the current HP. So if you're like at 2 hit points in your shield, but your overall shield is more than what your armor would have, you will get 30% of that shield as an extra bonus, plus the 30% heal.
Destination reached.
While this is active for, I think it's like 15 seconds or so, maybe 12 seconds, you will gain an extra 15% damage, 15% missile damage, and 15% drone damage. The Marshal can't use drones, so you will be gaining the missile or turret damage while it is active. I'm just going to go ahead and activate this real quick, and I'll show you. So it uses up 1 charge, and this is the activation time here. It feels very similar to the activation time on like a ballistic control. And that would heal you for the 15% or 30% of your shield and armor. Or armor, I should say. And then you are given a 150-second cooldown after you use it. So while I'm waiting on that cooldown to come off, I am going to grab my missions. You can see that cooldown is a very long cooldown. Hey, Zim, how you doing? Good to see ya. Still got about 30 seconds before I can show the effects of the Starbreak Reforge in the fittings window, so I can show you that extra HP and extra repair and the extra damage that you would get out of it. Ah, I see you got a Naga. I had one a while ago. Is it a Naga or Naga 2, Naga 3? Which version of it? Okay. So now that Naga 3 is a good one. I only had a Naga when it first came out, and when we first hit, what was it, Tech 8, Tech 7 at the time. That was a fun ship. And then I swapped over to the Oracle, because the Oracle was just a little bit better at the time. Right, so before I activate this mode, I wanted to show off we have 84,520 hit points on our shield, and then 80,000 hit points on the armor. And we have an active DPS of 5,000 with that Starbreak sitting passively. When I activate it, we are at 5,762. We have a hit point increase for our shield of 30%, so that brings us from 84 up to 109,000. And our armor also goes up to 104,000 from 80,000. And on top of all this, we gain the 30% shield repair because our shield hit points are the highest hit points that we have. And now that it's not active, you can see here that it drops right back down once it is not active. So it acts like a sort of resolution going poor on you. I wonder why that is. Might need to dial it back a little bit, I don't know. I don't show anything on my end that shows it dropping or anything. My preview is pretty small, but I'm not sure. Alright. Let's go ahead and do some missions and show off how that heal effect works.
Warp drive active.
Might be a Twitch thing, I'm not sure. Sometimes it happens like that. Yeah, I'm not showing anything on my end, so it's probably Twitch. Maybe try just like reloading the page or something. Might help it. You can see that if I am when I am firing at something, I can gain a little bit, or when something is firing at me, I believe I also gain it. That, activation there.
Enemy ships detected.
Man.
We're under attack. We're under attack.
Yeah, is it allowing you to, lower that at all in the settings? So you can see now that we've been shot a little bit and we've done damage. We are now at 1 activation available.
Enemy ships detected.
We now have 2 activations available from just dealing damage as I'm going. It seems to me that every 3 shots from my rapids, I gain a small portion of this gauge down here in the bottom left. Top left. Alright, see you, Azum. Take care.
Fleet warp.
These rats really don't do too much to my ship, so... This gauge actually goes up very quickly when you are being shot
Warp drive
at.
active.
The more that you are being shot, the faster that gauge builds. And it makes sure that you always have some on during the cooldown period.
We're
I
under
think on a
attack.
capital ship, this is going to be crazy. So we should see here now
We're under
that this
attack.
ship is being shot at. You can probably see just how much faster that this is going to go up. Little bits and pieces here, but we're no longer being targeted like that, I don't think.
Enemy ships detected. We're under attack. We're under attack.
Okay, we are now at a 3rd charge again, well before our cooldown happens. So that's the gist of how this Starbreak functions. You're gonna have a 150-second cooldown,
Enemy
and during
ships
that time,
detected.
that gauge will be building up,
We're under
so that way
attack.
you have,
We're
you'll
under
pretty much
attack.
always have one of these ready for the cooldown to happen. And especially so if you're in a capital or a battleship. Just the tank that you're gonna have is significantly more than what that cooldown actually needs. I think if they were to change it, I would rather it be like a 60-second cooldown instead of a 150-second, so you can actually utilize all 3 of those healing buffs. But yeah, there you go. Not too bad. I think if I end this here, I'll start up a new one, and I will head on to Perimeter, and we'll do some grinding and event grinding.
Autopilot engaged.
If the gold core comes to it, this thing is going to be a monster core. So we're going to show off the heal once more. You saw that heal buff. We are at max HP.
Warp drive active.
So yeah, pretty cool. I hope that we do get a gold core available for this Nanocore, so that way we can have this plus the weapon bonuses, which would put this ship somewhere in the 6,000 range. Right, thank you all for joining me, and I will start up a new stream so I can have this as a separate video. Thank you all so much for joining, and if you liked what you've seen here, please leave a follow and a like or a comment, ask questions. It's the best way for me to communicate with you guys when I am not streaming, and it means the world to me. You can find me at Orion Ikaela on YouTube or Twitch. Thank you so much.
Accepted.